It says, as Jesus and his disciples were on their way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary, who sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do the work by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, the Lord. How many of y'all know you're in trouble when the Lord calls your name twice? When my wife says, Thomas Brown, I'm in trouble. Martha, Martha. The Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things, but only one thing is needed. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will be not taken away from her. What did Mary do? She had a priority in her life, and her priority was the Word of God. Her priority was God. It wasn't cooking a meal and making sure that the guests are served. It was sitting and hearing Jesus teach. And what the Lord was showing me is it is simply misplaced priorities that are the dead flies that have come into your life, and those dead flies have given your joy a bad odor, and you're not full of joy like you used to. And it's because, like Martha, you are putting more things important than God. Your children are more important. Your wife is more important. Your husband's more important. Your mother, your dad, your parents. That others are more important. And this is what Martha, it's strange. Martha opened her home for Jesus. And she thinks that the greatest honor I could show Jesus is by feeding him. But may I say this? The greatest honor you could ever show a guest is not by feeding them, not by washing their feet. You know what not by giving them a gift. The greatest honor you could ever do, are you ready? Is to listen to them. That's the greatest honor. In my church, the greatest honor you could ever show me as your pastor is not to be out in the foyer area with your lattes and talking to some fellas out there, pulling out your laptop and Googling and searching online. Well, I'm giving the bread of life, and you supposedly are serving the church because you did this and you did that, and now I've honored the pastor. No, you honor me when you sit and hear me teach. And here Martha missed it. She gives a dinner in Jesus' honor, and he's teaching. And her way to show him honor is to sit and hear him teach. This is about Jesus, and we have a chance to put him first and to hear what he has to say. But instead, we are distracted by other things that have crowded in and made us think this is a way that we can really serve God. If I can do this, I've served God. If I can do that, I've served God. And God says, no, you serve God when you serve God. Not when you serve others. It's priorities. And like Martha, some of you feel like you've been juggling. Anybody feel like you've been juggling so many things? You have the PTA, you have your kids, you have your spouse, you have your work, you have this, the church, you have and you have all of this stuff, and you're trying to juggle all of this and think, Pastor, I can't do it. You know, one of my favorite things I used to love to do when I was a kid is go to the zoo. I mean, not zoo, go to the circus. How many of y'all remember the circus? Anybody old enough remember when the circus was really great? You know, nowadays, because of the economy and television, and people have seen some of these acts, and now, you know, they're blasé. I mean, we've already seen tigers and lions and elephants, and we've seen jugglers and we've seen all of that. So now, you know, with television, it's like, why do I need to go there? But when I was a kid, the Ringling and Barnumley, is that the Barnum Bailey Circus? Y'all remember that? And they didn't have one circle. 3 circles. And the MC would say, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you in circle number 1, the acrobats from Russia. And in circle number 2, I present to you so-and-so with the eating tiger. And over here, I present to you the trapeze. And boy, I remember as a kid, I was mesmerized. And I watched all of this. And I mean, it was just like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, people walking on a tightrope. And I see a man putting his head in the mouth of a lion. And I see people making an elephant do this. And then I saw jugglers and juggling things. And I'm thinking, whoa. I was just like, wow, that was so cool. Now, I don't know if you were like me as a kid. And I do, let me just say this. For some of you young people, you've missed out. I kind of feel sorry that the circus has kind of lost its glamour, you know. Like some of you kids, you'll never know what I experienced, what we experienced. Just like you will never know what a drive-in theater's like. Oh, you missed. It's just one of those things you just can't get, you know what I mean? It's just an experience, you know, the young people have lost, but well, after I saw this, like every 8-year-old boy, I went right home. Now, since I didn't have a tiger, I couldn't do anything with the tiger. Since I didn't have any tightrope across, you know, the house, but there was something I could do. I went right to the refrigerator and pulled out 3 eggs. I decided not to bring eggs out, all right? And like every kid, I went right out, I pulled out 3 eggs, and I was going to juggle. I couldn't do anything else, but I could juggle. And I thought that was cool. I'm going to juggle. And it looked so easy, didn't it? So I just took my 3 eggs, and I said, okay, this is it. What happened? I went on and got 3 more eggs. I don't know how many eggs I ruined. Because I was determined I was going to juggle. And, you know, I could never succeed. Because I didn't understand what it really took to juggle all of the activities. I didn't realize. See, I was looking at all these 3 balls, and I threw them all, and I looked and counted all 3, as if all 3 can work together. And I didn't realize that I'll never juggle until I look at ball number 1 and see that. I have to concentrate on ball 1 before I'm ready to do ball 2. And then when I do ball 2, I can do ball 3. Your pastor has many talents, doesn't he? I'm teasing. But the key was I had to concentrate first. So when I threw that first ball, after I realized I have to keep looking at number 1, even though I have 2 in my hands, and I cannot think of 2 and 3. First is 1. And when I concentrated on 1 and was able to catch 1, I can throw number 2. Now I'm ready to look at number 2. And when I'm ready to catch 2, I can throw 3. See, before I knew it, it was priorities that did it. And you know why some of you cannot juggle your life? Because you haven't concentrated on numero uno. Yes, me. Really? Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you concentrate on you, you'll never juggle anything. Because God never created us to love ourselves. He created us to love God and to love others. And what did Jesus say was the greatest command? In Matthew 22, verse 37, Jesus said the greatest command is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. If you're loving Him with all of it, there's no room for any other loves to creep in. It is God and Him alone that is first. And you see, we've lost our joy because we did not put him first.
You are watching The Bondage Breaker with Tom Brown. To receive today's message in its entirety, call us now at 915-855-WORD. That's 915-855-9673. If you prefer to request the message by mail, then follow the information on the screen and don't forget to specify today's